Welcome back to another episode of Coming to the Stage. So absolutely excited to have the opportunity to share space with you and to introduce you to another amazing, powerful speaker. So if you are new here to Coming to the Stage, we are here to do exactly that, introduce you to powerhouse speakers, women who have powerful voices and powerful messages that are meant to empower you and help you grow and win personally and professionally. I am your host, Andromeda Rahim, the founder of She Wins Society. And today I have the opportunity to introduce you to Lyncoya Moore. So without further ado, I'm just going to bring Lyncoya to the stage so that she can tell you a little bit more about who she is, what she does, and the magic that she is bringing to the She Wins Conference and Awards on November 9th, 2024 in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to the stage, Lyncoya.
Hello, everyone. How are you today, Miss Andromeda?
I am doing great, Lyncoya. I'm so happy to see your face and to have the opportunity to hear from you today.
I'm excited to come and share. I'm so excited to start to gain some new community. I do believe, and I will quote you on this, is when we support women, we all win. And that is like my number one goal in life, is to not only just support women, but just to support everybody, right? We all need community, and we need healthy community. And we need safe spaces to be able to share and talk, ask questions, to not be intimidated. Life is life, and I feel like for everybody right now. And we just have to, I believe there's like a move in the collective that everybody is like, you know what, life has been life, and there's a lot going on, and we got to share. We have to share best practices. We have to get in a groove again of being more community, sharing like ideas, getting in the room with like people. I think that it is very much a season and a time where God is going to be adding great community to everybody, and especially when you're kind of finding your niche, he is adding the right people to your energy bus. And I am just so excited to be here and share my life story, all the things that I have going on. I am a mother of four in all stages of life. I have a college girl right now playing volleyball. She'll probably interrupt me and call me in just a minute after practice. I have a 16-year-old. She also plays volleyball in high school, and I'm sure she'll want to play in college. She's the one, her name is Autumn. And she's my girly girl is what I call her. She's into aesthetics and lashes and stuff. So, we're kind of like finding out, she's going to continue athletics, or if she's going to kind of want to be like her dad and be an entrepreneur and go into the beauty space, which will be exciting. And then I have a 13-year-old, and backstory, both of my February babies, my 16-year-old and my 13-year-old, are born in February, one on February 11th. And then my 13-year-old will be 14 on February 14th in this coming year. So I'm very excited. And then, of course, my son is 7. And hubby and I are like, we really started all over. We really did, because we were like on the home stretch. And then Preston came, and he's such a joy. And listen, I thought I was being wise, right? When I was having my children, I thought, oh, I'll spread them out, because I could not be the mama with 2 little crown babies. And then fast forward, Andromeda, I get to this stage of life, and I'm like, oh my God, I have a high school graduation. I got an 8th grade graduation. I got a 5th grade graduation. I got a pre-K graduation, and it can be busy. But I feel like too that you got to find grace, right, in motherhood, and you got to show yourself that same grace. And so my motherhood has taught me a lot. Once you get to know me, and I hope that everybody does, you'll first and foremost, I believe in kingdom identity. I just believe that God created all of us, and that was a special thing, right? Like he breathed life into each one of us individually, and we all have gifts to give, and we have to share them with everybody. And once we kind of hone them in, right, that's when you kind of gain the right community. But all in all, like, I think that God is he is phenomenal. I had a crazy upbringing, in my childhood. My dad actually just passed away almost a year ago, honestly, last year. And my mom, raising 4 kids on her own, and then just coming from a background, I think that many of us can relate to the crack epidemic, right? Just our parents coming out of that. I'm gonna say, it was a weird time. I wasn't born in that time, but just like suffering some of the effects of that, right? So I can speak to being in foster homes, right? So I have had those moments where I've been in foster homes, I've been in other people's homes, and then God just kind of started to reel it in a little bit. And I live with my granny. And that is where, and not that I didn't learn from other places in life, but I think just being with my grandmother, who rest her soul, was like my best friend, and she was just wise, and just I watched her Andromeda, just like she just had a grace to everything she did. Like it was always, I never see her fret, right? I always see her got up and go to work, and her house was clean. And I remember, like, as a kid, we used to go in her garage and crush cans, and that's how she would make extra money. And even just like her history, right? So my family is from New Market, Alabama. And of course, my grandmother had 10 kids. My mom, I'm going to say, is maybe number, I'm going to give her 7 or 8. I don't know. I got to ask her, because today I asked, I said, did grandma have 10 kids? And she was like, she did. I was like, okay, I just wanted to be right. But, just coming out of slavery and just a lot of different dynamics, as my grandmother did. And she worked hard. She bought a house, like, right? So that was the first house in New Market, Alabama. She had land. She bought a trailer for her kids to live in. And so I just always looked up to her, and she was just very spiritual. She taught me just having a foundation of who God is, right? And when you know your identity, you really have to walk in that. Now, we sometimes forget that, right, on our past, and we got to be reminded and reel ourselves back in. But then my life it's been challenging, but I would say I'm blessed, and I'm grateful for everything I've been through. I've worked hard. Nothing's ever been given to me. And I think that just that, like, right, having that grit and just passing that on to my children. And then also, too, is just having a foundation, right? You got to believe in something. So I'm not telling you it has to be Jesus, or, you have to, but you got to stand for something, or you'll fall for anything. And so for me, I just have a Christ identity. I believe that he died and rose, and now I'm part of that redemptive power, and he is me, and I walk as the I am every day. I believe in bringing heaven down, and I believe in sharing light and love. And so you'll always see me being positive, smiling. But then also I have the joys of motherhood, right? Motherhood can be tough. And especially when you are raising girls. And I didn't think that Andromeda, when they were little, I thought, oh, this is so sweet, and I get to dress them up, and they hold hands. And then you hit teenage years, and then you get, oh, is this really who you're going to be? And then I got to show you who's the boss. But I believe that you got to foster an open, safe space for your kids. I think a lot of us, Andromeda, came from a lot of trauma, right? And that's even trauma that we don't even know that we have until you kind of start to grow and start to process things. And then you get in a relationship, and you get in a long marriage, and you're like, dang, I didn't even know I had that trauma. But you got to have wisdom, right? And I think that for me, especially like with my daughters, I've always just wanted to give them a foundation of Christ. So no matter what, they knew that, if you don't come to mama, you got to go to God. Because it's going to be some stuff you go through in life that, trust me, that only God is going to help you through. And you're going to resort back to, what my mama said, trust in the Lord with all my heart, right? He knows the way that I take. And when I'm tried, I will come forth as gold. And I was actually telling my husband this today, and I said, he's a man, right? And so he's not like us. Like, I'm a little more forgiving and graceful, let me say that. And but I love my husband, and you'll get to meet him. He's very quiet to y'all, but he's loud to me, right? But I was telling him that today, and I'm like, you got to quit taking everything so serious. And that was something that is, I feel like, the number one thing when you find grace in motherhood is really to stop putting so much pressure on yourself. So for me, like, I'm a type A.
I'm gonna pause you.
Go ahead, girl.
I'm gonna pause you real. Because and I know what you was about to say was really, really good. But I first,
Yeah.
before you jump into that,
Yes.
I want to say you all can see why we have asked Lyncoya to speak on our Finding Grace and Motherhood panel. Clearly, she is a woman with a message, right, and a story and great experiences to share with us. You are going to be sharing a lot on the Finding Grace and Motherhood panel, so
Exciting.
we just want to give them a little preview.
Yeah, that's good. I'm with that. I want them to know they got some excitement to look forward to. So
yes. Which, I mean, you have helped them to really get to know you. Like, you came in hot telling us your story and your background, which we really do appreciate. Like, getting to know you better is definitely helpful, because I think that when you are learning from other women and people are giving you advice, it's important to know like where they came from, so you know that you can actually overcome whatever challenges that you're trying to overcome. They're not just speaking to you from like, oh, I read this book and it told me. Like, you actually lived through some things.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Earlier we were talking before we came on here live, and you were just talking about how you are this career woman and you are a wife, and you shared with us that you have 4 children.
4
of all these different ages and stages of life. So let me ask you, a lot of women, and I come across a lot of women who say that they struggle with that mom guilt when it comes to finding time for self-care.
Listen,
you look beautiful, Lyncoya.
Oh, you're so kind.
And I feel like so you must be doing something self-care, because you're not looking like you're falling apart over there.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Well, how do you manage that?
Well, it took me a while, honestly, Andromeda, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm excited that you say that. That makes me feel good, because I have come into a season of my life where you have to have self-care. And then I started small, and this was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I think it was culture shock really for my family, because for a long time, Andromeda, and my oldest daughter is 20. I mean, for a long time, I was just putting my kids first and putting my job first, and every, mother duty was first. And then I started to understand and realize that, well, who cares for me though? If I'm not doing that, who will, right? And so I started small. And literally this was very small. I started just going back, get my nails done. And I made that a habit. I'm like, every 2 to 3 weeks, I'm gonna go get my nails done. I don't care who needs something paid, who needs to go somewhere. I'm making my appointment. I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna pay for it. And if you gotta be $65 or $30 short, you're gonna be short. So that was number one. And then I started to kind of like that, right? And so then I started with something smaller, was just taking a bath, Andromeda. And so I would go to the store, and I'm probably addicted to the candles now, and I probably shouldn't even be buying Bath and Body Works as much as I do. But I started just getting a candle. Dr. Teal's, y'all better go get y'all some bath salt and bubble bath. And I would just run a bath. And I literally, Andromeda, would tell my family, hey, this is my 30 minutes. And I shut the door and I run my bath water and I just soak in there, and I'm quiet, whether it's me reading a book or me just being in silence, for a few minutes and just giving myself that time. So self-care is important, ladies, because what I've learned is, and this may be cliche, but it's so true, you cannot pour out of an empty cup. And when you have people and things attached to you, whether that's a spouse or children or a community, right, in your professional life or wherever that is, when you're empty, the world seems empty, right? And then you start to wonder, like, what's going to fill me up? And so what I didn't want to do, Andromeda, is start to look like the old mama with 4 kids and just all over the place. I'm like, nah, I can't do that. And so it started with just simple, just self-care, like nails. It may not mean a lot to other people, but for me, I'm like, dang, I don't get my nails painted as much as I used to, right? And then and they make me feel good. And it was something from childhood that I had always done. I always was the girl that would paint my nails. And then the bath was more of, Lynn, you got to find space to disconnect. And I would just get in the bath and just start to just soak all the things away. And then I started just gradually adding stuff, right? So whether it was, I'm going to church on Saturday by myself and I'm going to serve today by myself, right? And just have that time in the car on the way there by myself. And then also treat yourself. Like, we work hard as women, just in general. When you are a mother, wife, a career woman, you are working hard, and sometimes you're working hard and don't even know you're working hard, right? And you don't even realize that other people, they notice your hard work, right? But they get used to that. They get used to you just being that hard worker. So you got to prioritize. And so I would just suggest, hey, whether if you like to read a book, whatever that is for you. If you like to write, for myself, I love to journal, right? So I have journals that I get to write in. I get a book. I'm a reader, so, and I like to learn consistently. So I read books, but I set aside, and you have to be very intentional about setting this time aside and making sure your family, right, knows that, hey, like, I gotta have some time and space for Lyncoya, because if I'm empty, you guys will be empty. And I started to really notice that, right? Like, I could be super tired some days, and then my attitude was off. And then, of course, my attitude is off, and I got daughters, right? And so they're feeding off that energy, and you don't want that. And then for me too, it's been very important for me, Andromeda, to remain calm. And I like that. I like being the calm in the storm, but I started to understand that without loving myself first, I'll be just as riled up as everybody else, or I'm going to let every challenge take me out. And that all started because I just wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't putting myself first. And so I went back to, we've all flew on planes, right? And it may sound selfish to be self-loving and self-care, but it's really not. Because the thing is, if you're pouring right out of your cup, and we see this, like, we see these little examples that people have, like a clear cup of coffee, and they keep pouring the water in until the coffee goes out, and now your cup is back clear again. But that's what happens. Like, you really start to compound all these things that you become, right? I want to be a great mama, and I want to make every game, and I want to do all these things, but then it's like, I'm tired, right? And I don't even get to enjoy the benefits of my labor or enjoy just being a mom. And so prioritize self-care. And I don't care what that is for you ladies. You have to get outside. I don't, like Andromeda, you said you like to run and you do all the things. And I love that. Like, you'll have to take me on a run.
I will.
I love it. Like, I mean, it's just something that is for you. So, that may not be something your husband likes to do. It may just be for you, right? And so, like, just little things, treat yourself. Starbucks, right? For me, I like to go get a strawberry acai lemonade. And even if it's just that one little thing in the day, it's for you. And you got to remember that. And then I think too, just with my self-care, is including other people sometimes out of your community, right? Because you have a family and you have your colleagues, but you also got maybe your church friends or your home girls, and all of us are just running life right now. And so being intentional about making time. And so I'll give you an example. This past year, we celebrated our 20-year high school anniversary. And so all of my friends in Andromeda, we all were like, we got to do better. And so now we just put a date on the calendar. And so, like, last month was our first meetup. We had just a little game night at my friend's house, and she lives not too far from here. I would have never known that, right? I know our kids go to school together, but because we don't talk as much. And that was my self-care. I'm going to hang out with my friends, and I just want that to be me. And then I'll tell you another thing. So, and you may be like me, like we know a lot of people, but we have a close circle, right? And so my close circle and we started to say, hey, one weekend a month, what we got to put it on the calendar, and we're sticking to it. And so take a girls trip, do something that is just relaxing and that's just fun and that just brings you back to your core. And you got to know yourself, right? Don't go do something you don't like to do. If you're not a mountain climber, don't climb a mountain. You know what I'm saying? If you like to walk, take a walk around the block and allot that time and really be consistent in that. And I think that for me, especially, that's really helped me, is just being consistent in my self-care. And now I like it. I'm gonna be honest. I like it. I love the self-care. I love just being a part of myself and just getting to know myself, because it was so much stuff that, as being a mom and all the things, I had forgotten about myself. Honestly, I forgot that I like to ride a bike. I forgot that I like to kind of be outside. Forgot that I like to kayak. All those things, right? So you got to take that time and start small. sometimes us busy career women, we got to start small. And so, like I said, it was the nails, and then it turned into a bath. And then it was like, oh, my Starbucks, I like my lemonade. So let me get up from my desk and treat myself. And so I just encourage you, treat yourself. You deserve that. Being a mom is, everybody wants to be, they like the hood called motherhood. It's rough in the hood called motherhood. Okay. Some days are just completely just insane, right? Because
let's really quickly talk about
yes.
one thing you didn't mention that I feel like you do for you do it for others too, but it's your passion. And another thing that I hear from moms a lot of time too is like and women can relate to this. And I think whenever they enter into some other relationship or capacity that requires more from them, sometimes it's women getting into relationships or marriages. Sometimes it's women becoming married. Sometimes it's women who are career women who they finally rise to that position in their career where it's taking a lot of time from them. And so then they kind of lose a part of themselves. But specifically for moms, I think that your identity sometimes changes, right? So like you may have had all these ambitions and all of these dreams, and then your kids come along and now you're living for their ambitions and dreams. And then you kind of lose sight of who you are, like who you are as a woman, as a person, as who your identity is, and how God created you to be. But I see that you have founded Coya's Courage, which is something, like I said, that I feel like it's something you're doing for other people, but you're doing it for you. You're still remaining connected to what your purpose is in life, along with, your purpose of having your children. But so can you share a little bit with the women about what Coya's Courage is? What inspired you to start that?
So, Coya's Courage is, of course, my name is Lyncoya, and you are right, Andromeda. I did get to a space in my life where I just lost it, right? And I knew that, I know that I've always had a servant's heart. I knew that I always wanted to be a great mom. I've always been an encourager, right? But Coya's Courage, it's my baby. And God just put this in my heart a few years ago. And I'm just asking God, and my vision is becoming more clear, right, as I continue down this path of the unknown. But Coya's Courage was founded because I believe that as a mother, right? And as a friend, as a wife, we have to have courage. And if we don't have courage to step out and just do new things in life, we will just remain stagnant. And what I didn't want to do for myself, Andromeda, is just stay stagnant. And I knew that there was just a call on my life, right, to encourage other people. And so you're right. It's for me, but it's not about me, right? And so I founded this just to kind of start to share a little bit of God's word and his light, right? Because I believe we are all light beings. However that manifests in your life, you get to share that with other people. And so for me, it's just, God is my source. Everything else is a resource. And so I really wanted to start sharing that with other people, and not only just other people. I thought it was very important for me, Andromeda, as I am a mom, right? And I have daughters, and I'm typically around a lot of young girls. And so you get to hear conversations, and I'm thinking, do they know themselves? Because we live now in a generation where I believe there's a lot of lack of identity. There's a lot of lack of courage and knowing yourself, right? I think that a lot of young ladies that I run into, they have just crazy things, anxiety, and they're trying to fit in, and they don't know how to fit in. And so that was what Coya's Courage came about is, hey, you got to know your identity. And when you start to understand your own identity, everybody else and everything will be added unto you, right? Because once you know who you are, you start to walk in that, the community comes, and God will continue to add to you, and he'll give you all those things that you are just like, wow, this is blowing my mind, right? So, and just like, for instance, I was on a whim, Andromeda, I saw your email, and I was like, oh, I don't know. And then God was like, not Coya's Courage. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply for this. And so I did. And when I got the reply email, I'm like at my desk, and I'm like, oh my God, but that was God showing me that, be obedient, right? And so, and that was, and you're right, I started to lose myself. So I started saying, I got to pick up my courage. And the crazy part is, Andromeda, I've always had that in my spirit, right? I've always been very confident, but just life stuff along the way started to, snatch a lot of my character. And when I really realized it, it wasn't other people, it was me allowing them to do that. And taking my grace and taking my fun and taking all the things that Lynn is. And so I said, I got to get back to that. And then, of course, because I'm a mom, I really wanted to like hone that niche down and to start letting moms know, like, hey, like you have a large role in life, but the biggest one is yourself, and you got to have courage in that. And Andromeda, it took me. I'm excited, right? I have been like playing because I like to play. I'm a team player, and I give everybody else credit, and then I'll sit back, and then I start to say, well, why don't I have courage to do this or to do that, or to, be on a live, or, share my testimony and share my word. And so that's kind of where Coya's Courage is birthed. I want my testimony to inspire women, right? And especially moms. I think that moms like myself, right? So I have several kids, and like that is just like, oh my God, she has 4 kids. And I'm like, it's one of the best things in my life, like that. My children are my why, right? And they push me. And I understood as I started, and it's just simple things like watching my daughter on the volleyball court. And I'm like, why do I not got courage like that? Like, why am I just so demure all the time? And so I started to push myself out. And I just want every woman out there to have the courage to be yourself. There's somebody that your testimony is going to touch, and it's going to really be the catalyst to change their life as well. So that's really where Coya's Courage came from.
Ooh, so good. So good. Like, you've been dropping so many gems. You're really quite a powerful storyteller if no one has ever
told
you that. I'm like in here like engaged, listening, and cannot wait to have you grace our stage at the She Wins Conference and Awards. So we know that you have so much to give. Like, you have clearly shown us today. You have like a wealth of knowledge and experience and expertise to share with us when it comes to being a woman, being a mom, being a career woman, being a wife, being a servant, being a child of God. Like, I mean, you just have a wealth of knowledge and wisdom that you are sitting on. And so I would love for you to tell us that we know you're coming to bring a lot to the She Wins Conference and Awards, but what is it that you're hoping to gain?
I am hoping to gain community, right? I love being in the room with like-minded women. And I believe that I'm in a space in my life where God is starting to add people to take me to that next level of glory, right? And that next basket of fruit. And so I really want to get some expertise. Like, I know that you have some people on the panel that are going to be speaking on so many different topics. And so I'm eager to learn their stories and honestly to see how they overcame their challenges and really started to branch out and do all the things that they do. Like, it was just so interesting. The young lady the other night, I was watching her and I'm like, wow, like she has all these things. I don't know if that's mine, Andromeda, getting all wiki. Let me see. Maybe. I can hear you, but I can't talk. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but
okay.
your video is just frozen. But maybe it'll come back. We can still hear you though.
Okay, good. All right. But honestly, Andromeda, I'm so ready to pick everybody's brain on this panel. I'm ready to meet women that are in the audience that just have, I believe there's so much in us, right? That a lot of times we don't even tap into that until we get in a room full of other people that bring that out of us. And so I'm just so eager to learn, to start to take some best practices, implement that in my life. I'm kind of getting new back to this social media stuff. I'm in a space in my life where I want to grow my finances. And there's just, I mean, so much to do. And like the lady the other night that was speaking, I'm like, she has a lot going on in her life. And I'm an ear hustler. I'm going to listen in and I'm going to ask questions and I'm going to bring those things back and really implement those things in my life. And so I'm so excited for this panel. I'm so excited to just be in the room full of just women who are just powerhouses. I believe that as a collective, when we join together, that we are just a force that cannot be stopped, right? So we're greater in numbers. And so I'm just excited to just see all the different walks of life and what do people do? Like, how do you overcome your challenges? What do you do on a regular basis? How do you have self-care? How do you manage motherhood? How do you work and just be a professional woman? And so I just want to gain just so much knowledge, and I'm just excited to have women from different walks of life and from all different places in the world to come and share, their story just as much as mine is to be shared, and to just gain more wisdom, more understanding, more clarity, right? Sometimes when we listen to other people, you have an idea or you're thinking things, and then you're like, oh, wait, like, sister girl doing that a lot easier, and she's doing it a lot smarter. And so, and then too, I hope to bring to the room and to receive from the room that we got to love on each other, and we have to be here for each other, because I feel like there's so much divisiveness, and not just on the collective, but in the female sphere, and that's no matter what you're doing, right? There's so much divisiveness, and I think that it's important, Andromeda, like the She Wins Society. I've been following you for quite a while, and of course, and I was so tickled. I was reading some of your bio, and it was like, hey, I'm just going from these nice, cute little posts, and now we're doing these things, and I've seen you playing retreats, and just to see you grow, right? And so I'm excited to have community added to me just to help me to continue to grow in life and just to be better. Like, that's my goal. Every day I wake up and I want to be better than I was yesterday, right? And I want people to understand that we need community. There's nothing you're going to be able to do in this life by yourself. And if you think that, you are wrong. So I'm excited to walk away with so many new personal relationships, so many business contacts, so much more best practices, knowledge, wisdom. And then I believe there's going to be so much love and energy in the room. And so I'm excited. Yes.
Yes. So good. You are, again, I think I've already said, you are a powerful woman with a powerful voice and a powerful message. I am too excited to finally be sharing the same space with you on November 9th in Atlanta. Where are you coming from, Lyncoya? I don't think I asked you that.
You know what? I'm in Huntsville, Alabama. And so you're not too far from me. Atlanta, like, at this point, is right down the street from me. I probably could walk there. I've actually, Andromeda, found some cool little back ways, and that's another part of my self-care, Andromeda, is when I take a trip, I start taking the scenic route, and I stop going on the interstate and going 85,000 miles an hour and trying to beat the GPS clock. And so I'm in Huntsville, Alabama. We're growing. There's a lot of good things that's coming into our city and town, and I just want to be a part of that movement that just, spotlights my city and the wonderful women and the things that we are doing to add to the global community, for sure.
Yeah, so good. I'm gonna have to find my way to Huntsville since it's down
You are. There's a lot of stuff to do, and I will take you out. And you like to run and walk, I can connect you. My little sister like to run, walk. We can get some weights, whatever you want to do.
Yes. Okay, Lyncoya, so I know, again, you are a very busy woman. We were talking about all the things you have going on before we came on here. You shared that one of your daughters should be getting out of her practice soon, right? And calling and texting. So we don't want to interrupt that mother-daughter time. But before we go, will you please let everybody know how they can connect with you now as we prepare for the She Wins Conference and Awards on November 9th?
Yes. So listen, you can follow me on Instagram at Coya's Courage or at Classes Lynn. Classes Lynn, of course, is my personal page. So go and follow me. I will follow you back. You can follow me on TikTok. I just started that the other day, and I know I'm a little excited and apprehensive at the same time. But at Coya's Courage 1. And then you also can find me on Facebook, Lyncoya Deanna. Deanna is my middle name. Follow me, find me, email me, lyncoyapen@yahoo.com. I'm eager to just get to know everybody. And so I need you to come follow me, come and join my journey, and help me to walk this thing out, okay?
Yes, I know I got to follow you on TikTok. Listen, if you, the way that you tell stories, girl, TikTok is the place to be. I know you've seen what is her name? Risa Tisa?
Listen,
Risa
baby,
Tisa?
so
Is
let me
doing
tell
her
you,
thing.
Andromeda, I am so let me tell you this. I actually am a communications major, right? And I was kind of in the wave when social media came out. And then life stuff started to happen, and I kind of like lost my joy for it. But it really was a space like that I expressed myself. And so then Instagram comes out, and I'm like, oh, I like Instagram. I could just post my little picture, and say what I gotta say. And of course, I always keep my Facebook because my family, a lot of my older aunts and uncles and stuff are on there, right? And then, but this TikTok, I was like, I'm never getting a TikTok. I can't believe y'all. What is this? Like the scammers are gonna get your information and all the things. And so this is so funny. My spiritual mom, who is really one of my closest friends, she would send me stuff in a text message, and I'm like, dude, I can't see it because I'm not on TikTok. And then like finally, like Andromeda, my daughter, she turned 13 and she got some guts, and she was like, Mama, you can't keep using my TikTok to look at stuff. Like, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna create one. And what I am finding though is it's a challenge. Especially for me that I like to just be in the background, honestly. But God is like, this is the thing, right? He's pushing me out of my comfort zone. And so TikTok, I'm finding you can find a lot of stuff on TikTok. Like the other day, girl, I ordered nail polish because I'm like, this boy has sold me on this nail polish color, girl. I went and got my nails colored. It's so much stuff. Like, even like my friends in the community, I'm like, I didn't even know she did stuff like this. I didn't know she unboxed all this stuff. And then also too, just to just to share, like people need to, I love TikTok because it's like real time. Like people will just get on there and like for me, especially, like I'm learning and I'm doing better with when God puts something in my heart, I want to go ahead and get it out. Right. And you'll never know who you are blessing or who's going to be touched by the things that you have. And so that's kind of how I got into the TikTok and so I'm trying to do better, Andromeda. Listen, it's a lot, girl. I'm like going from Facebook to, I don't see how y'all do it, but I'm going to learn it.
Now, listen, I'm definitely not the queen of TikTok by any stretch of the imagination. I really just be taking stuff I post on Instagram and moving it over there. That's where I am right now.
I'm a beginner.
But I'm going to just say, like, it makes sense that you're a communications major. It makes total sense.
Oh, that's
and okay. you have the gift of gab. Like you speak very well and you tell stories very well. And so I just feel like, again, like just push the live button and just start talking. You will be fine.
Thank you.
Just do it.
Thank you for giving me that boost of confidence. See, hence why I started Coya's Courage. I need to. Courage is like a thing that you got to have, and so I'm growing more into that. And I honestly hope, Andromeda, that I encourage other people to do that as well, because I believe that this is going to be an hour where God is like, you're going to open your mouth and he's going to make it happen. And you're going to be just blown away. Like, because he's like, oh, Lynn, you want this? And because I see it, right? I see it every day. And I'm a little excited. The TikTok is new to me, but I'm like you. I'm a beginner. I'm like taking stuff and posting it. But I'm also getting excited just to get on and share some stuff too. So yes, follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Lyncoya Deanna, at Classes Lynn, at Coya's Courage on Instagram. I look forward to gaining some new followers and community and sharing and I'm taking what you got. Like if it's something on your page that everybody needs to know it, I'm sharing, and that's just where I'm at with it.
Yeah, so good. Again, thank you so much, Lyncoya, for your time today, for helping us to get warmed up before this exhilarating experience we are about to have this fall. If y'all haven't heard me say it already, the She Wins Conference and Awards is happening on November 9th in Atlanta, Georgia. Lyncoya is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Lyncoya is speaking on our Finding Grace in Motherhood panel. She shared a lot today, but know and trust she's got so much more to share. And just I can already imagine like just being in the presence of you in the physical is going to be amazing and magical. So y'all make sure that y'all are there. If you want to learn more about the She Wins Conference and Awards, make sure that you go to SheWinsSociety.com. Again, thank you so much again, Lyncoya, for your time today. Send my best wishes to your family, and thanks for sharing you with us today. And
Thank you for having me, Andromeda. And I look forward to November 9th. I think it's going to be such a wonderful, amazing event. And I just can't wait to give you a hug.
Yes, you too. Well, see you soon, sis.
Bye, beautiful. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.